Okay, so today, you know what? I was gonna do the desert set today, as I told you guys last week, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that this week because this morning we actually had a lot of new people coming in, and I thought it would be a fun idea to do a wreath. How to do a wreath. We haven't done a wreath in a very long time, and I thought it would be really fun, and at the same time we can talk about how to stamp your foliage and how to stamp your flowers, okay? So we are going to do a round wreath, and we're also going to do a heart wreath, okay? Let's see, any questions here? She says, Kim, Kendall Joy is absolutely there. Kendall Joy is my niece, and I had her on video with me one time several months ago, and she's just so sweet, and she loved being on here, and she hopes to say hello again. Okay, all right, so we're gonna get started. For these projects, it's gonna be a very, very simple wreath, and I thought this would be fun too, because we're gonna be going into the holiday season, and you know, you could easily make this harvest, you can make this Christmas, you can make this Halloween. We can, if you guys are really interested in like holiday wreaths, that is like one of my favorite things to do. I have a lot of wreath videos on YouTube, and I didn't want you guys to get tired of them, so I sort of took a step back from them, but if you guys are really interested in them, then I will definitely do more. Let's see, oh, I was gonna show you, so our, speaking of harvest wreaths, I thought this set that we just released, it's one of the new watercolor sets, would be super cute for harvest. It's the Watercolor Veggies. This one, wouldn't that be cute in a wreath? I just love this. We could actually do that if you guys are interested to see how I would do this in a wreath. I think it would be really fun to get into that. And yeah, just a thought. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the wreaths, doing maybe some holiday. Okay, I was just notified that the website is now fixed, and nothing is, the Watercolor Project Series 8 is no longer marked as sold out, so you can still order that, okay? Okay, Roberta's saying yes on the veggies. All right, very cool. Okay. Let's see, any comments here? And all right, okay, so I am going to be switching the camera, and then let's get going on some wonderful wreaths, okay? So feel free to continue to ask questions as I will be seeing those on my little iPad screen next to me. All right, let me make sure I'm in here okay. All right, here we go. So you can see I've just got a piece of Canson watercolor paper here. The sets that I'm going to use, I'm only using 3 stamps for this because I really want you to get the idea of how to make them. So I'm just going to use the vine, this little foliage, little branch with leaves, and then the daisy bunch flower. Now you could use a whole bunch of different flowers and vines and, you know, foliage in here as you want to, but I just want to keep this really simple so that you can learn how to put together a wreath, okay? For these wreaths, I am going to be using the Foliage Set 1, which is 4051, and it's going to be this vine right here. And then also, I'm going to use the Daisy Bunch in Flower Set 1, 4052. And then also, lastly, I'm going to use this really cute branch from Foliage Set 4, 5126. I'm also going to use just a couple colors on this, and we will go from there. So we're going to do a circle and also a heart. So if you're following along, you can quickly put together a circle. I used a die for this, and I just did a little circle inside the die, and then the heart was actually made from a little post-it note. Do you remember being in elementary school and folding a paper in half and then cutting the heart, just one side of the heart, and then you've got a really even heart. That's what I did for this, and then I just traced that around, okay? So we're gonna start with the circle first because that's the most straightforward. And I will just zoom in a little bit here. So as you can see, we've got a circle. Now I generally like to go in one direction the whole way around. So if I stamp a vine going in this direction, it's gonna go in that same direction all the way around. It may kind of veer off, but the base is always gonna be at the back, and then the tips of the vine are always gonna be moving forward, okay? So I'm gonna take that vine and I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna take that and start with number 177. And you could start with flowers too if you want to. It's really up to you. I do it both ways. So if I want tons and tons of flowers, I will start with the daisy bunch or whatever flower I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with that first and get all those bunches in all the way around, just so I can make sure that I have plenty of white space for those flowers. But if I'm doing more greenery, which is what I'll be doing for this one, I'm gonna use that vine first, okay? So I'm gonna take that number 177 and I'm going to just move around, and I am moving my paper around with me. Now this does not have to be perfect by any means. Okay, I can always come back and add more if I want. I'm just getting in that basic shape. Don't worry about, you know, moving into the center. That's actually good. Don't connect everything. Just put these in very loosely around this circle. You can have some connections. That's great. Just don't be so hard on yourself if it's not perfect. It's actually better if it's not, because you think about a wreath and you're like, okay, it's not, you know, it's not going to be exactly symmetrical, right? We can try, but wreaths, you know, organic wreaths are just going to hang how they hang, and we can't really do much about that. Okay, I'm just moving around, and notice I'm stamping once and then stamping off. So getting a lot of that ink off before I move on to the next stamp, or before I re-ink. Maybe I'll add one more kind of coming in here. It's going to be a heavy section of greenery, and that's fine. Okay. So now I've got my greens in. Now I can always, again, I can always add more at the end if I want to. And actually I see a little space right here that I really want to have just a couple little leaves coming out that way, and I'm happier with that. All right, so now I'm gonna take my little daisy bunch. Okay, so this is so far, I've just taken just the vine and went all the way around. I've given this tip before, but if you are re-watching this on the replay and it's too fast for you, just turn the volume down, or watch it once, turn the volume down to 0, and then slow the video down, and then you can be stamping along with me at a much slower pace, okay? So I'm going to take that number 636, that really beautiful purple, and I'm going to ink these flowers. I'll take these and I will just start putting these little clusters in between the vines. Okay, and it doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. These don't even have to be placed perfectly. Just put them in wherever you feel like you would like to see some flowers. Okay. And then Keep going around here. And notice I'm stamping this in a sequence of at least 5. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I might re-ink again, okay? Or I might try to get even more out of this if I want some really light flowers in the background. Do you see how light that is? Maybe I want some of these areas over here to have a really, really light floral in the background, and I can use that stamp with just a tiny bit of ink left on it to get that really nice haze in the background. So I like to use that tip a lot. Okay, re-ink this. And then I'll go back in and get some darker ones in here. Okay. Elaine, I have to watch on my phone, don't know how or even possible to slow down the video. Elaine, you can once the video is uploaded. So you can't when it's live. You'll be looking and looking and looking for the button when it's live, but once it's posted, you shouldn't have a problem. You just click the little toggle button on the video and it should say video speed. And this is specifically on YouTube. I'm not sure about Facebook, but once we get it uploaded to YouTube, you can definitely have the option to slow this down. Okay, so I'm just going along and adding a few more flowers in here. Isn't this pretty? So you can already just add your water if you want and put in a sentiment and you are good to go. All right. Yes, Catherine. She says the flowers remind me of hydrangeas when you stamp them in bunches like this. Yep, they do for me as well. I love those hydrangeas. We've got a few outside right now and they're just gorgeous. They're just so beautiful in those little clusters. And so I totally agree. Okay, so you can see if I zoom in, you can see those really, really light, you know, the really light impressions in the background. You can use that, you know, your stamp once it's almost done and get those really, really light impressions. Okay. All right, so now we are going to add in our other little branches, and we're just gonna add a few of these. We don't need very many. Okay, good night, Nicole. Thanks for coming. Have a good sleep. Okay, I'm gonna grab number 249, the other green that we have, or that we use often, and that little branch. So I'm just gonna ink some of these leaves on the little branch, and I'm just gonna put these in. Oh, I think my pen is a little dry. So I'll grab another one, and we'll see here. Okay, so sometimes they do, you know, they've had it and it's time to move on to a new pen. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the same thing, the same direction. So I'm just moving around and putting some of these little branches in. Aren't these cute? I love these branches. They're just too cute. And I'm just moving around. Maybe I want to add just a little bit more in there. Re-inking these. Hi, Sue. Good to see you. Okay. All right. Maybe just a little bit more up in here. You know what, I like to go one round and then I like to just say, okay, where else do I want something? And then I'll just put it in if I feel like I want something else. But I think that's okay for now. Maybe just another little branch here. Okay. Kathy, I am using Tombow markers. So these are Tombow's water-based markers. And the one I just used was $2.49. And it's a really beautiful, cool tone green. All right, so now that we have our stamps in, now we can really start adding our water, okay? Notice I didn't add any water until I had all my stamps in because I really wanted this to blend really nicely together, especially the greens. So I waited, and I could also pack them in a little bit tighter, okay? So I'm gonna take my brush now, and I'm gonna start dabbing these purple flowers. And I'm just gonna be very delicate with these. I don't wanna go overboard with the water. All right, Michelle, I so love your videos, Kendra. Thanks so much for doing this for us every week, loving the wreath. Yay, thank you. You are so sweet. I love to hear it. It means a lot to me, and I love doing these videos for you guys. I love that you come every week and share a little bit about your week with me. Let me know how you're doing and share your inspiring works of art. I feel very special. I know you could be anywhere right now and you're choosing to be with me, so I appreciate it. Okay, those encouraging comments, they never get old and they mean so much to me, so thank you. All right. Catherine, why do you wait to dab water on the flowers until after you've stamped all the greenery? So this is something that I do with wreaths because I really want to pack them tight. So if you think about, let me just do one on a practice paper for you real quick. So let me see if I can find an empty piece. I'll just give you a little example, okay? So if we do, say we do our flowers, okay? So we do our flowers in the purple, and I'll just do two examples here. So I'll do a little bunch right here, and then I'll do a little bunch over here, and okay, so I've got my little bunch in here. Of course, these look very different. That's okay. We just want them sort of about the same size. Okay, so I am going to add water to one of them. And I'm gonna add all this water and just kind of move this around and get it to where I would get it normally on a project. But do you see how far out this is bringing the color when I'm dabbing? Do you see how much bigger that got? So when I go now to put in my vines, watch how much closer I get to the flower when I do my vine. So I'm gonna add color to my vine, and I'm gonna put it right up, right next to here. And then on this one, I am going to put it in, and I've got to be a little bit further back because I've got so much water in here now. So I've got to bring my vines further out. But do you see how much tighter I can get the greenery into the flowers? And then when I add water to this flower, I know to kind of stay within this area and not to bring it out too far because I know where the greenery is then. Do you see that? And then it can hug the flowers a little bit closer. I hope that makes sense. But that's why I do this on the wreath, because I want to pack them really tight. And if I'm adding water too soon, it makes things really wide. Okay, absolutely. Thank you for the question. Good question. All right. Now, I think I missed another question. How do I order the throwback set when the site? Sharon, try to refresh the page. Somebody was having a problem earlier, and I believe it's been fixed now. So hit refresh and see what happens now, okay? All right, so I'm going to take that brush and just move along my little flowers here, leaving white space. Remember, we always want to leave a little bit of white space in these bunches. We're just slowly moving around. Little bit by little bit. We don't have to rush this. We can take our time. We can just enjoy the process of dabbing. For me, the dabbing is really therapeutic. It's fun to get your brush out and start dabbing these, especially the wreaths. I mean, I told you guys the wreaths are like some of my favorite things to do, because you move around it. You know, there's a lot of routine. It's symmetrical. I really like that. It's really relaxing for me. Let's see, Kathy, I've hit refresh a couple times and it won't let me, it'll let me add it and then it tells me it's out of stock when I go to checkout. Okay, Kathy, I'm gonna have somebody else check on that, okay? But don't worry, it will be in stock. Sometimes when the site gets a lot of people on it, sometimes we can have problems, so, but don't worry, we will definitely get it worked out, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna go in with my little vines. And I'm gonna mostly do that first vine that I did. Sometimes it's hard to articulate where those are in here. So if you get a little bit of a mix in with the other green, then it's totally fine, okay? All right. So I'm just bringing this out and I'm touching those little vines that I put in initially. I haven't focused on the branches yet. Just these little vines. Once again, we're leaving white space in here. Okay. Hi, Linda. I just used a die for the circle. It was really, really simple. It's just a circle die. It doesn't matter what size it is. Any circle die will work for you. I could measure this one though. Let's see. Where's my little ruler? So this was, let's see, this was about a 3-inch die. Okay. And I'm just gonna move around now. Now I'm touching some of these branches. Do you see how these colors just come to life? This has to be one of my favorite things to do with the wreaths, is at the very end, once I've put everything in, to go around and just touch all these with water and see the colors pop. Okay. And especially this green, this is a really cool green. It's just beautiful when you put it up against that warm 177. Okay, so this was just 3 stamps. And we got this really beautiful wreath just by going around and stamping in a few flowers, a few foliage stamps. And you know, it would be beautiful just to put a little sentiment in here and you know, run it through your die cut machine with a really pretty circle or something like that. And it should be just beautiful on a card for any occasion. Okay, I just got the go-ahead that everything should be good now again on the website, so check that out. Leave a comment for me if it's not, and I will have them try to figure out another option, okay? All right, so that is the circle wreath. Now we are going to also do, oh, and you've got to sign these, right? So I'm going to take my twin tone marker and I'm just going to just do a little signature in here and we'll sign that. Okay. For the heart, we are going to do the same thing. A lot of times people will see a heart wreath and be like, oh my goodness, how do I do that? It's literally the same thing. It's the same technique all the way around. It's just that you're gonna have, Diane, thank you. I need Kendra Dots, you're right. It's just that I don't have the stamp, darn. I was not thinking of the Kendra Dot stamp. Do you see the Kendra Dot stamp? I need that. Diane brought it to my attention. Yes, we have it. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Diane. So these are the Kendra Dots, and this is in which set for Bible journaling? This is in the, I've got to have that. Let's see. Or the watercolor catalog, maybe. So this one is in, she's finding it just so I can tell you. This one is the Kendra Dots, and you know, if you don't know from, if you don't know the story behind these, I have been begging for these dots for so long, and I just love them. They're so fun, and it is, okay, it looks like it's from the Bible Foliage Set 2. And these are so beautiful. Look at all these foliages, and then there's the Kendra Dots there. So you've got the little ferns and these beautiful foliages here. So definitely, if you're in the market for a new foliage set, this is a good one, and it's got the little dots in it, okay? All right. So that was on the fly. Okay, so I'm gonna use 636. I'll use the same color I used for the flowers, and I'm just gonna ink this. Now, I want these to be really light, so I'm going to stamp this off once or twice so that I can have these be really, really light. And I just want to put them in. How cute are these? Oh my goodness, I can't. Thank you, Diane, for the reminder. How cute. I can't. These are, I just love these. I had begged for these for so long because I wanted to be able to do them dark and light, and these are just a blast. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. And I'll just stamp them off once or twice, and I can get some darker ones if I want, but I just want them to be really, really light in here. Aren't these cute? My mom, bless her, finally gave in for this release, and I've been ecstatic about it, because when you do the dots, because I have a thing where I just love the dots. When you do the dots with a pen, it's the same hue and the same tone and the same value every time you do a dot. See this? With the pen. And I love the dots anyway, but when you do it with the pen, it's very similar, but when you do it with the stamp, you can get different values, which is why I wanted her to come out with it. And it's so cute, and you can add it to any project, and it came in a set that is extremely usable. So you're not buying a set just for the dots, you're getting an amazing set with the dots. Okay. So there's the dots. Thank you, Diane. That was a great idea. I did not think of that. And I already signed. So we are going to go ahead and move on. All right, let's do our heart now. Okay, so we're going to do our heart. And this is, like I said, this is the same concept, okay? So, like I said, I made my heart out of a little sticky note, and I just had it folded in half, and then I cut out one side of the heart, and then it was a perfect shape for my wreath, okay? Catherine, the dots remind me of baby's breath. Yes, that is very true. Yes, they do. Okay. Now I'm going to go all around with my vines again. Do you guys want to see the vines first, or do you want to see how I would do the flowers first? Since we did the vines first on the last one, what do you think? As I just grab my colors here, you just let me know what you think in the comments. Should we do the vines first, or this time do you want to see how to do the flowers first? My comments are a little bit behind, so I know that they're coming. Okay, Diana says flowers first. Anybody else have an idea? Okay. Melee says flowers. Heather, show flowers first. All right, flowers first it is. Okay, so we're gonna take our little daisy bunch. Pat says flowers, perfect. Okay, we're gonna take our daisy bunch and we're gonna take that purple, that's 636, and we're just going to do the same thing except that our vines are not in here yet, okay? So we'll start here, and this time I'm gonna use 2 different colors of flowers. So I'm just going to put these in all around. All right, I think the consensus is flowers first, so this is great. Okay. Michelle, you know what? It just really depends on whether I want something to be very flower heavy. If I want it to be very flower heavy, I'll always do flowers first because I think it saves that white space so that I don't get it filled up with the greenery before I add in my flowers, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't have enough room for all the flowers I want to add. So I'll do the flowers first in those occasions. If I want a lot of green, then I will just do the vines first and the branches and all that stuff. So notice I'm just putting in these flowers all around. And this is a, I mentioned it before, but this is a tap, tap, tap. This is not a stamp, stamp, stamp. Let me just show you the difference. So when you tap something, you're going to get a very light impression, and then you're also going to have the freedom to kind of move out, okay? And it's going to have different values, and it's going to stamp off. Now, if you're stamping really hard, it's going to look like this. It's going to be stamp, stamp, stamp. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be heavy. Do you see the difference there? It's really heavy here, and this is really light and airy. And what we want is light and airy. So you're doing a tap, 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 and you can just move this around as you make that cluster, but it's a tap. It's not a hard stamp, okay? You see the difference? Big difference. Okay. I'm gonna keep moving around. And we are just tapping this very lightly. To our little heart. And maybe I'll just add a little bit more to that one. Moving around this little heart. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my second color, and that's going to be this really, really bright pink. And I think it's called Rhodamine Red actually, but it's a pink. It's a really bright pink. So 725. And I'm just going to stamp off some of this purple. I don't mind some of it being on there because I like the blending of the colors. So I don't generally wipe my stamps clean unless I'm going from like purple to yellow or something. But I will happily just have some of this purple in here. So I'm going to go with this pink, and I'm just going to go right up next to this purple. Same thing here. And not all of them need pink, but if you want to have a little bit of pink with each cluster, that would be cute. Jerry, the purple was 636. Okay. And I am just putting this in. 725. And I'm just moving around. This is much faster because I'm just kind of backpacking on to some of these purple ones that are already in here, okay? And for the heart, you do want to make sure where it comes out the widest that you are bringing your flower out wide, okay, to just really keep that shape. All right, now I can put in my greenery. Mary, this is the regular. This is the regular daisy bunch. Okay, so I'm going to take 177. And also, Mary, you could use either. You could use both. You can use one or the other. You could use any other flower that you have. It doesn't have to be the daisy bunch. It's just that this one is a set that a lot of people have. So they could just quickly grab it and go for it, okay? So 177, same thing with the vines. Now I'm just going to hug in these flowers and put in our vines here. So I'm still gonna be moving in just that same direction, but I'm gonna be working around these flowers. Do you see how much less greenery I have in this one because I did the flowers first? Look at that. Look how much greenery I have in the first one, and then you can see how many more flowers are in here. And that's because I did the flowers first. It was a little bit more flower heavy. So whatever you do first is what you're gonna have the most of. Because the second thing that you put in, it has to fit in between the areas of the first thing. So it's got to kind of fit in the open spaces. And I'm just now coming up to the second arch. Still going in the same direction with my vine. And I'm coming down. Moving along. Now you don't have to go just in between the flowers. You can bring some vines out. You know, you could have one maybe stick up over here. Totally up to you. If you want it really, really tight and smooth, you can keep it nice and close to the line. If you want it to be more wild, you can really open up those leaves and let them fly. Okay, kind of want to bring some in here, just a little bit. I want this just a little bit more wild. And I'm noticing I'm kind of sticking pretty close to the edge or the line that I made. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so glad you're loving this. It's such a blast. And I just thought, honestly, with the holidays coming up, I'm like, you know what? Everyone loves wreaths, and so I just thought this is a really fun, simple project, and it's so pretty for the amount of work that you put in. It's very, very simple. These can go really fast. These are actually great for assembly line cards. And yeah, Catherine, you could do a beautiful wedding or an anniversary. Yep, you sure can. Because they're fast. These you could do all the flowers in one or all the foliage in one and then move on to the next. I've done my Christmas cards with wreaths, and I have to say it was the fastest Christmas card compilation that I've ever done is with the wreaths, because it's quick. Okay. Now we have our little heart, and I can now take those branches. So we're taking the same branches, same vines, all that good stuff, and we're just putting them in. I just added another element to the flowers with the pink because I wanted a lot of like floral elements, and so I knew we would have more flowers, and so I wanted to add a little bit more to the flowers, so I added that pink. But we are still going to put in this really cute branch, and I'm going to use that 249 again. So the 249, and notice I'm not coloring all the way down to this branch. I don't need it that far. Okay, so I can just put these in where I want to. Color that up. And we're gonna bring these over, and we're following the lines of the heart. Okay. And we'll go on this side now. I don't think I stamped in here yet. And we'll have them kind of sticking out there. Maybe a little bit more. Isn't this just so fun? You know, wreaths are just, the possibilities are really endless. They really are. They're just, you can make them for any occasion. Birthdays, you can do holidays, you can do sympathy. They're just, there's a wreath for everything. Okay. All right, so maybe I want to do one more little branch kind of coming out the bottom here because I didn't get this area. All right. Kim, only missing some yellow. Kimberly Ann is my sister, for those of you that don't know, and she is absolutely obsessed with yellow, and she would like me to, and our beautiful mother, she would like us to have yellow in every project that we ever do. And I always tell her I can't wait to see your version of this with yellow in it. So I have yet to see all the versions that she's requested yellow. I've yet to see her beautiful work of art with the yellow in it. So what do we think? Should Kim be posting more? We need some more Kim on this channel. What do you think? Okay, so, and we need some Kendall Joy too. Okay, soon. All right. All right, everybody, you're the witness here. She has said that soon she will be more visible, okay? All right, so now I'm going to take my brush and we are going to do Heather LOL, yes, more Kim, agree. Okay, we are going to start dabbing our flowers. And do you see how beautiful that pink just pops with that purple? Okay. And I'm gonna move around. Just look at that. I gotta zoom in. It's just stunning, this pink, and I hope that the camera really picks it up because it's just, it's beautiful and it adds so much to that purple. Can you see that pink? Okay. And for those of you that don't know, Kim, she is a watercolor instructor, so she is very, very knowledgeable about watercolor as well. So we will be very excited to see what she brings. She has taught in Canada for several years now, and she'll be doing some more here in Oregon very soon, so we're excited. Okay, so I'm just dabbing these little flowers, and look at that, just so pretty, so pretty. Donna, I am using Canson 140 pound cold press watercolor paper, and I'm using the smooth side, but it really doesn't matter if you want to use the textured or the smooth side. Both work great, but the watercolor paper is very, very important. All right, so I'm just gonna keep dabbing here. And if I want to take my water just a little bit and pull out some of this purple color and this pink just out of the lines a little bit and just give it a little bit of a haze here, I can do that. I like to do it before I add the greenery just so I can really pull that out and I don't swallow it up with the green. Do you see how pretty that is when you just pull it out a little bit with just that very light touch? Very, very light touch. And when you stamp the colors over one another, so remember I stamped the purple first and then I went back in and put the pink on it. Once you add your water, there is going to be a really, really nice mixture of color, and it's just going to happen naturally. So you don't even have to try. You don't have to color on the stamp with two colors. If you don't want to, you can, but you don't have to. And then you just start pulling or putting that water in, and it's just beautiful. Kathy, I'm using a round synthetic bristle brush, and this one is, it's got junk on it, sorry, but it's the Canson, or not Canson, it's the Connoisseur synthetic round bristle brush, and we've got them on the website. This is the number 4. And I use number 4 most often. All right, so now I'm going to come back in and begin to add water to my greenery. Mostly the vines first, just like we did in the first one. Okay. And I'm leaving white space in here and just coming in and adding that water. Absolutely, Kathy, no problem. Adding this water in here and pulling that color out of the lines, blending it out. I still want to keep the integrity of the stamp, but I do want to pull out just a little bit of that color to make it look like a hand-painted watercolor. Jerry says, would you add any sky, or is this wreath enough? You know, it would depend on what I put in the wreath. So if I just am adding these flowers and foliage, I probably would not add a sky, although it wouldn't be wrong. I just wouldn't think to add a sky. A sky would certainly be very pretty in here, especially if you just wanted maybe a little background of blue or something. I think that would be really nice. But if I had a wreath and I had maybe a little scene in here, like on this side, then yeah, I would definitely put a sky in here to just kind of finish up the little composition inside the wreath. And I can show you guys that too if you're interested in wreaths. Man, I have so many ideas for wreaths. I do all kinds of wreaths, and you can check them out on YouTube. But if you want to see some more here, then I would be so on board. I'd be really excited to do them. And we could do some for holiday or, you know, fall, Halloween, all of that stuff. And we could incorporate some other stamps too into the wreaths. If you like that kind of thing and you're not quite sure what that means, you could look up the Easter wreath that I did on YouTube or the St. Patty's wreath, and you can see how I incorporated some different stamps in there to really add to the wreath, okay? So I'm seeing, let's see. Tina says, Kendra, could you go back and add flowers if you want to in bare spaces? Absolutely. You are not, there is nothing wrong with going back in and adding more. And in fact, I do that a lot. So I'll put in some flowers and foliage, and then once I get the water on and everything, I'm like, you know, I really would like, you know, a little bit more, you know, vine in this area or another flower, something that feels kind of bare. So then I'll just go back and add a little stamp here and there, and that's totally fine. Okay. So now we are going to add the Kendra Dots. And I'm going to take that piece of paper that I had, and we can do, let's do, how about we do some purple and pink dots this time, and you can see how this looks. Okay, so I'm going to do the pink first since it's the lighter of the two colors, and I can do one side pink and one side purple. So I'll do pink on this one, and I want to get this to be really light because I don't want too much pink. I really like the heavier colors for the dots, like the purple, the blue. But I do like the lighter colors when I mix it with a heavier color. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just put these in. Aren't these just so cute? Am I off screen right now? I hope I'm not totally off screen. Let me just zoom out, I think I might be, but don't worry, I have lots to go still. So I'm gonna just turn this, and we'll put some really light pink dots in here. Okay. And then I'm gonna take that and do this again. All right, and then I will put in the purple dots as well because I really like that heavier color for the dots. So I'm gonna go back in with this 636 purple, and we will stamp these off again. and just get that heavier color in there. Oh, just love it. I love these dots. I think they're so special. Somebody said they're magical. I agree. I totally agree. And you know what? I bugged her to get, you know, get these done, but she's the one that actually designed the dots themselves. So we can thank her for coming up with just the perfect stamp for this technique. And by her, I mean the queen bee herself. Okay. So now I'm just coming around and just adding in these little dots here. So I can't take credit for the stamp, but I can take credit for the idea. Okay. So that is the heart. Now you could go in and if you're like, oh, you know what, we'll just say, oh, I wanted another vine. You know, I wanted something, you know, more balanced in here. I can just take that vine and just put it in. Do you see that? So it really, you can add as much as you want. And do that at the end if you really want to. It's totally up to you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Brana says, do you tip your stamp or just get a few dots or the tip of a vine? Yep. So when I'm inking just the tip of this vine, I will ink typically only half, and then I still will tilt it a little bit. So when I'm stamping, I'm still tilting just a bit. Sometimes I'll use the whole half, and sometimes I'll just use a few leaves. So it's up to you. It's something to practice. If I know that I just want a few leaves, I can tilt it and just get a couple leaves, or I can stamp that whole half. So it's definitely something to practice on a scratch piece of paper, but good question. It's a great skill to have, because maybe sometimes you only do want, in a certain section, you only do want a couple leaves. So if I'm stamping this around my wreath, this really pretty branch, and maybe I just want a couple leaves, I can just tilt it and tilt it and tilt it this way. So it can be a total different look just based on how you tilt. So yep, you sure can. Okay. All right, and then we will definitely sign this. Okay. Did we like these tutorials? So here's the first one. It's a little bit more soft looking and really hazed out on the edges. It's not as bright. And then we have our heart over here, which is a lot brighter. It's got that pink in it. So these are really fun. What did you guys think of these? Did you have a favorite? Do you like the heart? Do you like the circle better? What do you think? And if you want wreaths, again, leave them in the comments that you want wreaths, and I will start planning and doing some test lessons for you on wreaths, and we will definitely do some for the holidays. You know, if you want it to be like more, you know, intermittent, like every couple Tuesdays I do a wreath, I could totally do that too, okay? So I am gonna flip the camera back over and I will say my goodbyes. Okay, where are you? Oh, my hair is a little crazy right now. Okay, so thank you guys so much for coming. And again, if you want those throwbacks, definitely snag them on the website, www.artimpressions.com. Watercolor Project Series 8 is the name of them, and that's going to be these two. You can get them from now until Thursday, 11:59 PST. And then you also get the Project Series booklet that comes with it, okay? So this little guy, and it's got all of the tutorials, information, all that good stuff in here. And so you're gonna learn all about this. Okay, and limit of 2, but if you get 2, we'll definitely throw in 2 of the instructionals. If you already have them, just let us know in the notes on your next order and we'll just toss in the instructional booklet for you, okay, for free. And yes, I hope you loved the wreaths today. These would be so fun for any occasion. And then I will go back through, read your comments, and see what you guys thought about wreaths moving forward if you want to do some holiday ones. And yeah, so if you don't have enough watercolor yet, go check out my mom, Bonnie Krebs, tomorrow morning for Watercolor Wednesday. She's got a beautiful project for you planned tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST. She's so wonderful. I know you guys all love her. If you haven't seen her live, try to check her out, or at the very least watch the replay, and you will get to see her beautiful work of art, okay? Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, of course here on Facebook, and I will see you guys next week, 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Love you all. Take care. Bye.